Okay, good afternoon. Well, I guess good morning, all of you adult leaders out there. My name is Chris Myers, and I have the honor and privilege of being the camp director at Ransburg Scout Reservation. This is my 19th summer on camp staff here at Ransburg Scout Reservation, and I think personally that this will be our best summer yet. I want to introduce a few of the camp management team members. First off, our one of our assistant camp directors, Mr. Justin Scott, is back, and we are so excited to have him return to Ransburg and be a part of this awesome community. We also have Liz Van Hoos as another assistant camp director. Longtime program director, and just excited to have her be a part of the legacy of excellence here at Ransburg. And then also our program director, Mr. Patrick Shilson, heading up all the fun parts of camp with our esteemed program staff. A few other members of the management team are not able to be here currently because Ransburg has the unique privilege of hosting National Camping School currently at Ransburg, and they are helping facilitate this national training at camp. Few things. If you have questions throughout this presentation, the Q&A at the bottom of your Zoom screen is a perfect spot to ask any questions that you might have. And one of us will be answering and monitoring those chats as we go through this presentation. And then any questions we did not cover during the presentation or weren't able to answer in the Q&A, please know we will stay on this Zoom call for as long as needed to answer any of your questions. Again, the purpose of this meeting is to preview with you and highlight some of the things that we're most excited about, some changes that we have created over the years, and for this particular summer to help the scouting experience for every scout that comes to Ransburg, and also to help you best prepare for camp. So Q&A for sure. Also, this video is being recorded. We're going to send that out afterwards. So if any of your adult leaders or parents weren't able to attend today, they will get a copy of this video sent to them. Cool. I'm going to share my screen and get the party started. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see that screen? Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So just a few things again. We could not be more excited to have you back. I know there's many units here that have been coming to Ransburg for quite some time. Welcome back. Welcome back home to Ransburg Scout Reservation. To our new units or individuals that's your first time coming to camp this summer, we could not be more excited to have you join us and for what we hope to be the best scouting experience your youth have had in scouting. You know, summer camp really is a culmination of a year of incredible efforts and achievements that your troop has created for all of these awesome scouts. And we are so privileged and lucky to have you be a part of this culminating activity and experience for the scouts. We're going to go over some of our 2024 changes, some exciting new programs, and give you some tips and lessons learned in the past for how to prepare for camp, and then kind of have an open Q&A at the end. All right. So what's new for Ransburg 2024? First off, just a reminder, we still are offering a completely all-inclusive programming for camp. What that means, any of your youth that have signed up for a merit badge, there is no hidden fees for them in any regard. So if they are taking shotgun shooting, they don't have to pay for a ticket in the trading post for their ammo, etc. That's already included. If they are taking basketry merit badge, for instance, that basket's already going to be provided for your youth. If your scout or you want to take a trail ride at our ranch where we have over 20 horses, there's no fee for that as well. And that goes for cooking merit badge, that goes for PWC or ATV or welding. All of that is included in your registration for camp. We didn't want to put any barriers for scouts who have already signed up to have to think about fiscally what merit badges they want to take. We want the scouts at camp to come and have the time of their lives and choose their own adventure as they continue to grow in their own personal scouting program. We're going to highlight in a little bit our completely overhauled and rethought first year camper program. We're calling it Nest. New Eagles Start Together. And we're going to let Patrick talk about that here in a little bit, but I couldn't be more excited for this opportunity for first year campers and our most important scouts, our youngest scouts. And then we've been listening to you and looking at all of the information that we've received, that we are thrilled to have redone a lot of our high adventure programs. Again, we spent a lot of time particularly looking in the non-summer season for how can we engage, excite, motivate first year scouts and new scouts, and also how do we retain and excite our returning scouts to just continue to love the program. So here we go. Mr. Program Director, give us a little insight on the most fun part about camp, all the program, all the cool stuff. Patrick, take it away.
Yes, as Chris mentioned, I'm Patrick. I'm the program director at Ransburg this summer. Very excited to have all you there. And first thing I want to highlight here is our camp theme. I've been working on my team, which is my assistant Logan and I. We've been working hard on this camp theme for you all. It's called the Summer Camp Games. And on the left side of the slide there, you might see our camp patch. It kind of looks like Olympic rings, hint, hint. But that being said, there's going to be a lot more activities like in the off time that scouts have to just encompass the games and everything in it. I won't give too much away on that. I kind of want it to be a surprise for you when you come to camp. So the next thing I'll move on to is our merit badges. We expanded some opportunities there. We brought back movie making and we got rid of theater. So that'll be on a every other year rotation. So this year's movie making, next year theater, the next year would be movie making. And we added another welding session because that's very popular with the scouts. And we want to give the scouts more opportunities for the things that they enjoy. And as Chris mentioned before, our new program called The Nest, that's going to be taking place in the morning of our Eagle Quest program. We've been working a lot. We poured a lot of resources and working hard on this idea of The Nest. We really wanted to revamp it because the first year program was kind of getting stagnant, and this is going to change a lot of things in a positive way. So in the description on the activity schedule, it mentions that there's an opportunity to work on the nature and first aid merit badge at the Nest program in the morning. Our intention is to get those first year scouts those 2 merit badges. We'll obviously have to see how that goes, but that is our intention. So keep that in mind when you're scheduling your scouts for classes. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be emailing adult leaders who have their first years in Nest in the morning, and then in the afternoon, they have them in first aid and nature. It would kind of defeat the purpose of that program. And they learn the same thing twice, in the morning and then afternoon. So if you could take a look at your schedules on the first years and adjust as necessary, that would be wonderful. I'll also be double checking that here in the coming days. And then high adventure, we've changed a lot there, as Chris mentioned before. Our co-program we love it to death. But we recognize that the numbers and the popularity amongst the older scouts or mid-range scouts, the third and fourth year, fifth year scouts, it wasn't as high as we thought or had hoped it'd be in the past 2 summers at Ransburg. So we looked at that and we made changes. So there's a new program called High Ropes. They'll be doing the High Ropes course at Cope. This takes away the low cope activities. They bond as a team, but they're only there for 2 days, either in the morning or afternoon. We really took away the low cope games. A lot of scouts, from their perspective, they wanted to do the high course, and that's what they took cope for. And they wanted to do it early in the week. And they wanted to do other fun things later in the week. So that's what we strive to meet on the scouts' perspective. And this also gives them flexibility to say, hey, I want to do the high ropes course and I want to do ATV my other half of the week. So then you have 2 days high ropes, 2 days ATV, and you have 1 day as a break in the middle where you can just go around and do all the fun stuff you want to do at camp. And then we also lowered the ATV limit age range to 14 because our ATV numbers, they were similar to Cope. They were going a little downhill, but 14 opens up a whole new ball game there. We lowered the class size due to ASI regulations, but should be a lot more fun, and it should be a lot more numbers. So you get to have that experience with other kids around camp, and it should be a great time as it always is. And then a couple other things not on the slide I wanted to mention. If you're new to camp, we have a ton of evening program. We have everything from mad science to a beach party. We also have your traditional Monday night advancement, Monday night, and we have a bunch of other things I won't bore you with because I'm pretty sure you've already seen it on our website in the evening program schedule. But there's a lot to do in your spare time at camp, and I feel like every scout should take advantage of that and just go have fun, try something new, go on a trail ride, etc. You know how it is. But yeah, that's my part. Yeah.
Excellent. Excuse me. Thank you, Patrick. The other cool part I want to add on there about high ropes is we are going to be providing, our intention is to provide an adult high ropes experience. More information when you arrive to camp, but to allow you all to go down and have some fun with the high ropes course or the zip line or some of those initiative games, as well as provide you an opportunity as a unit, if you would like to sign up. If you have a group of scouts that going through low cope activities and games would help them bond and develop as leaders, that they can participate in that as well. And then I know Patrick mentioned this, but all of the program schedules are on our website. There is one that we created this year that has everything. So it's also the program, the activity schedule. It also has the evening and the open program schedules in there too, so that you can just, if any of the parents in your unit are looking to see where it's all at, you can just send them one document. But again, please take advantage. Camp is supposed to be used and enjoyed and help encourage people to become better versions of themselves by living by the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. So again, super pumped for the program. We have an excellent program team and amazing staff to help support all of the magic that is Ransburg Scout Reservation. Thank you, Patrick. Moving along. How to best prepare for camp. I'm gonna throw that out to Mr. Justin Scott to give us some highlights, and Liz is gonna just jump in there as well.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, as Chris mentioned, I'm Justin Scott. I'm excited to be returning for my 26th summer on camp staff, which is really exciting. I've had the opportunity to see camp evolve over the years, and I feel like every year I go back, it just gets better and better. And I know our team works extremely hard to fill in those gaps and help to make the program and everything better for all of our leaders and our scouts moving forward. One thing that we liked or that we've been trying to do is also help with our communication before camp starts, and making sure that you have all the resources you need to prepare yourself and your unit to come to camp. So I work very closely with our commissioner service team, and some of the tools that would be extremely helpful for units to take a look at are the experience guide that can be found on our website, as well as your camp contact person receives an email from our council with all of the updates leading up to camp. And those are always packed with really good information about any changes or any things that you need to know leading up to camp, with timelines and all of that kind of stuff. And hopefully, since most of you here are here, you probably got that information through one of those emails. So if you know that your unit is not getting that confirmation or those contact emails, you can let us know, and we can check on that to see who those are going to. But Alex Buxton is our camp commissioner, and he kind of leads the customer service with working with all of the units leading up to camp and at camp. And his contact information will be at the end of this presentation. So he will always be available to answer those questions that you might have leading up to camp. He is actually at camp now, and he's at camp until we go into the start of the summer. So he will be able to help with all of that information. But making sure you're using that experience guide and those unit materials are going to be big to get the scouts prepared for what is to come this summer.
Okay, so my name is Liz. As Chris mentioned earlier, I do want to talk about some pre-camp program items to make sure that your troop gets and brings to camp for your week with us. The first is our PWC waiver. So if you have any scouts that will be participating in that activity, please make sure that they have that waiver filled out. We do also have some swim tests. If you have any scouts doing aquatic-based activities, so kind of circling back with PWC, but also other aquatic activities like swimming, canoeing, kayaking, etc. So your troops can do a pre-camp swim test. Please make sure a copy of that, and whoever is administering those tests is a lifeguard. That is super important. But if your troop is unable to, or if you have some scouts that were not able to participate in a pre-camp swim test, we do at camp Monday down at our aquatics area. Moving forward with our ASI ATV program, if you have any scouts doing that, there is an online course that we ask that they participate and complete, as well as a waiver form. All that information, the PWC waiver form, the swim test, ASI ATV, and waiver, you can find that on our website in the downloads and document page. Looking at the adult leader youth protection training, all adult leaders need to make sure that they are YP trained. That is super important. So please make sure that any of your adult leadership that's coming to camp, double check, make sure that they have that completed, it's up to date, and doesn't expire during their camp with us. Something that's not on our screen is if you have any scouts or adult leaders but you can also find the link to that form on our website, also on the documents and downloads page. And then the last thing I want to talk about on my end are health forms. So your troop must bring printed copies of the BSA annual health forms and medical record forms to camp. They will not be returned at the end of your week with us. This is due to Indiana state law requiring the retention of these records. So in addition, we request that you do not send these forms ahead of time. One last thing I want to mention with health forms is that parts A, B, and C are required for youth and adults alike, regardless of how many nights that they're staying in camp with us. So please make sure that you only give us your copies, individual records for your own selves. That is totally fine, but keep the originals on your end, because I'm sure that you all are going to do other cool, fun stuff during your summertime, and you want to make sure that you have those ready for the next adventure after Ransburg.
I'm going to hop back on and talk a little bit about our check-in process. This is something that we have worked hard to evolve over the last few years to try to make it as best and convenient for our units. You are able to arrive at camp as early as 10:30 on Sunday mornings, and that time from 10:30 to 1 o'clock can be used for you to kind of get settled, an opportunity to go down to the campsite, start getting things unpacked and things where you want them before the official check-in process, which happens at 1 o'clock. And then at 1 o'clock is when we start to go through that official process where you check in at the STEM Center, go through your medical rechecks and some of those important aspects of getting your week started at camp. So once again, you can arrive as early as 10:30 on Sunday. There will be a staff member, one of our commissioners, who will be there to greet you and give you some guidance. And then you have that ability anytime in that time window to kind of work to get set up and prepared for the start of camp. And then at 1 o'clock, we start that official process of running through the medical checks and getting set up with a place to eat in the dining hall and swim checks and anything else that needs to happen to get camp started. So that's still something that we are going to continue this year, having that early arrival as an option. And then if you have any questions about that, happy to answer those as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Justin and Liz. In terms of the next steps, there are a large group of individuals that are here to help support you at any time. Patrick, obviously, as the program director, any questions you have about the program leading up to camp, that's his email, and he is at camp now for the rest of the season, and we're super excited about that. Anything regarding settling up, troop t-shirts, purchasing pizza, or just your account or anything, trading post or business, or really everything fun. You can talk to Ryan Kelleher. He's an assistant camp director that oversees the business side of Ransburg. Dining hall and special diets, as Liz was mentioning, we want to be as inclusive as we can be. So anything from a vegetarian meal to food allergies to religious needs with food. We want to accommodate every scout as best that we can. Then if you would email Daniel or on our website, it also gives you some other steps on how to fill out a form. There is actually a registered dietitian who will be helping support anybody that fills out that form and those parents and unit leaders ahead of time, as well as with our food service program, a dietitian, a member of the dietitian's staff actually at camp the whole week to help prepare those special diets in the safest environment possible. So again, that every scout and adult leader and staff member are able to eat safely and appropriately based on what those needs might be. As Justin mentioned, Alex Buxton, our camp commissioner, him and his team, they're here to support you in any way that we can help. before camp, and while you're at camp and you're throughout the week that you're with us. Again, our objective is to make this week of summer camp the highlight of the year for your scouts and for yourselves too, which is also why Alex Buxton and his team will be kind of leading the adult leader training. That we are really excited to be more robust and hands-on this year. And just to have an excellent time for everybody that comes to Ransburg. And of course, my name is Chris Myers. I'm the camp director. If you have any questions at all, you can always get a hold of me, so I can help support you and your unit as best as possible. Something we're also excited about, specifically, is highlighting all of the youth leaders in your troop, specifically thinking about SPLs. So on Sunday afternoons at 4:30, there is an SPL and Scoutmaster meeting, where we kind of give all the information, and introduce the key leadership team members to help your unit, be successful at camp. But we're also going to be giving all of your SPLs kind of a gift on Sunday, just kind of a small ability to recognize our belief in the youth-led program and how impactful and important it is to be an SPL at summer camp. So we look forward to be able to show our gratitude for the youth leadership at camp as well. And then wanting to highlight again the youth protection expectations. Any adult leader who is spending any amount of time or spending a night at camp must have current youth protection training. That training cannot expire throughout their time while they're at Ransburg. And I need all of your commitment and support and partnership to ensure that we get that accomplished. The safety and security of the youth and the members at large of our organization are second to nothing as far as I'm concerned as the camp director. So any questions about that we can answer as well. But most importantly, welcome back. Welcome to Ransburg Scout Reservation, to what we hope to be an exceptional summer of scouting for you and all of the members of your unit. So at this time, if you have any questions, put them in the chat or that Q&A. Any ones we want to highlight, Justin, Liz, or other people monitoring the chat?
We've had just a couple so far. One question was about if there is any need for a medical transport or transports while at camp. And our commissioner, Alex Buxton, can help set that up at camp, as well as when you arrive at camp during the check-in process at med rechecks, there's an opportunity to register that too with our commissioner team. And there's one question I'm going to throw to you, Chris, because I am not 100% sure on. Question about the location of a climbing and hold harmless waiver on the website in our documents. So that might, I don't know if you have any insight on that.
The climbing waiver?
Yeah.
There should not be a waiver needed for climbing merit badge, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
What else? What other questions we got?
We have a question about, have there been any changes to the health forms? Will more than a written-in date be needed for tetanus vaccine, doctor certification, etc.?
Great question. The BSA health form has not changed, and we do need all health forms to be that official BSA documentation. Written in verification should be just fine for any vaccinations, specifically again to tetanus, will be perfect. Again, I would recommend everybody to look through your unit's health forms before you come to camp. Again, that doctor signature has to be current for the week that they're at camp. Okay. I mean, but we also need the date. So I think that's sometimes a little confusing. So some doctors' offices will give a stamp of the physician or the nurse practitioner, et cetera. We need a physical signature and an actual date written there, which most of your doctors should be able to accommodate. If you have any questions about that, you can let us know as well.
Question about pizza orders. Is there a form available ahead of time, or is that just when you get to camp, you have that form?
That is just at camp. Sometimes the order abilities from our local pizza provider changes a little bit. But Alex Buxton, our camp commissioner, should be able to give you kind of a preview of that if you specifically have questions regarding the pizza order. For those of you who are like, what the heck do they keep talking about pizza for? On Wednesday nights is our troop night at camp. And every unit kind of has, some units have their own traditions and things that they like to do. You know, when I was growing up, my scoutmaster and the adult leaders and the older scouts had a big spaghetti cookout. Other troops sometimes go into Bloomington to get some food. Some troops have parents come and cook for the scouts, whatever that might be for you and your unit. But we offer, because no other pizza company will actually deliver all the way to Ransburg. It's not too far from Bloomington, but enough that we're out of that like geographic delivery area. That we kind of partnership with a local pizza place there at camp. So if your unit wants to order pizza, we kind of just help support that initiative as a collective in that regard.
We have a question about a scout who's on the swim team and plays water polo. Does not have the availability to take all of the mile swim conditioning courses each day, but would be interested in still doing the mile swim. Is that a possibility at camp?
So
Go ahead, Chris.
no, you're fine, Patrick. The mile swim conditioning is there as kind of a prep and a practice. It sounds like this scout is probably well prepared to actually complete the the mile swim based off of his or her being a part of a swim team and a water polo group. That would just be working with the aquatics director when they get to camp about scheduling a time to actually do the mile swim. But absolutely, there's other opportunities to make that happen. The conditioning is just there, kind of come as you wish. This is an opportunity. Well, one of our areas in the swimming side of camp we'll have somebody designated to help monitor and support the conditioning process. If you are like me, I would absolutely need to have some practice because I do not competitively swim. I know that's a surprise but if you that I might need that, but sounds like this scout is ready to rock and roll in that regard. So don't want to not have that person, you know, reach their goals that they want to.
I did the mile swim when I was 16. I would not be doing the mile swim today. Another question is about dietary needs. When filling out the form, how specific do they need to be? For example, for dairy, do you need to use almond milk instead, or do you need to provide those alternatives in that form?
Great question. Dairy free, etc. We've had a wide variety of individuals with a wide variety of special dietary needs. And again, our goal is to accomplish and accommodate all of them. For something like dairy specifically, it's more, you know, is there something else that the scout prefers putting on that form? But also if our dining provider has any specific questions, they will be reaching out to that parent or whoever filled out that form to get more specific information. But again, more information placed in there isn't going to harm anything as well. But if you do have specific questions, or you have a parent whose kids are, extremely sensitive, or with their dietary needs, or is, wanting to be reassured that their child's going to be safe at camp, please reach out to Daniel Fleming, or myself, and we can help answer those more specific questions. But yes, we want to make the dining ability just a part of the experience, a positive one. We really focus on the kids being able to go out and have fun and be safe. So yeah, absolutely. Hopefully that answers.
Follow-up question for that, Chris. How do they know if they received the special diet request? Will they get an email? Do they just trust us, etc.?
2 weeks out to camp, you should be getting an actual email from our dining provider saying and confirming, hey, we got your information. Scout X has signed up for a vegetarian meal. Please, just letting you know that we have that information. So there will be a follow-up 2 weeks out.
All right, and then I'm looking through the chat here, got some other questions that came in through the chat. One of the questions was helmets. Can scouts bring their own helmets for ATV if they meet all of the requirements? Also, horse riding, is it required to wear a helmet while riding? If so, can they use their own?
The short answer to that one is yes to both. Our ATV and our ranch director will approve the helmet if they bring it themselves, like by scout basis. But if they meet all those qualifications, it should not be an issue.
Perfect.
And to add on to that, if they don't have their own helmets, we have them, and we'll provide them with a variety of different sizes, etc. But yes, you are required by state law to wear a helmet on a horse, ATV. I hope that goes with its own level of understanding. But good question.
We have a question asking if swim tests can be approved by any lifeguard.
They need to have lifeguard certification, and the whoever that lifeguard is you'll need to get a copy and verification of their lifeguard certification. It does need to be an adult who monitors that lifeguard, those swim tests.
We have a unit that is wanting to prepare for their hopper schedule ahead of camp time, asking about how many seats are at each table in the dining hall and how many of those would be reserved for camp staff members.
Great question. Totally embrace that youth member who is trying to get ahead of the game and get organized. That I was not that organized as an SPL myself. They should email Daniel Fleming, and he can give them more information about the dining hall operation in terms of the meal that they would be in, as well as number of tables, etc.
Will we have tents for extra seating for the dining hall?
So, for those of you who have been at camp the last few years, we have set up a large industrial size tent outside of the dining hall to accommodate more seating, but also make the dining experience. You have more room for your unit to, enjoy their meal and time together. We will be setting up that same one, but also would like everybody to know that it is part of the council's strategic plan for us to actually expand the actual physical building itself. But yes, we will be having that tent set up this year again, just so everybody's experience in the dining hall is comfortable and enjoyable and relaxing.
And then a kind of a follow-up question to that, Chris, if a unit has a preference of potentially sitting in the tent versus the dining hall, are they able to make that request, and who do they do that with?
Great question. First, you could reach out to Alex Buxton, our camp commissioner. He really is kind of the filter to get anything else to the rest of the leadership team in that regard. But also contacting Daniel Fleming, again, our assistant camp director overseeing the dining hall operations. Either one of those individuals can help support that. But yes, if you have a preference, we'll try to accommodate that as much as we can. Absolutely.
And then Patrick, this question is for you. If there is a unit in camp that is out of council, and they would like to participate in the OA call out, what is needed for that?
So when you get to camp, you'll fill out our OA call out forms, and you'll also get with our OA coordinator, which will be announced at that Sunday SPL meeting, to you and your SPL. And we can go from there. And I saw another question in the chat. They require an overnighter on that same call out day. We do not. So there's that.
So that's kind of the difference of the call out ceremony for Order of the Arrow is when they are informed that they have been selected for membership. But we do not put on an ordeal at camp during the week.
Have a Health Lodge question regarding medication. If there are two people who take in the same family who take the same over-the-counter medication, will they need separate bottles, or would they be able to store it and they're in the same bottle for allergy medication?
Same family, that's completely fine, especially if it's over the counter. A lot of that will just be instructions and permission from the parent that can happen. But totally understand that with allergies for sure.
There was a question about getting a copy of this presentation that we're doing today to be able to send out to families. And I can answer that one. Yes, we will be sending out the recording of this presentation to units so that it can be used or sent to those who could not make it with us today. And
Excellent.
I believe that's all I have in the queue currently.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. Hey, again, in closing, please know we will stay on and answer any questions that you have and until we get all of your questions answered. But also wanting to be mindful of everyone's time. Please know how grateful that we are at Ransburg for all the work that you do for scouting to ensure that summer camp is possible for your unit and the scouts that you are helping support become better versions of themselves through the scouting program. This is a partnership. We are here to support you in any way we can so that this experience for yourself and all of the scouts in your unit is top notch and one of the most memorable experiences that they have in scouting. So again, on behalf of Ransburg Scout Reservation, thank you for coming this summer. And please let us know how we can continue to best serve you and your unit between now and throughout your stay with us. So thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Again, we'll be staying on to answer any additional questions you might have. But if you need anything, let us know. And can't wait to see you on the banks of Lake Monroe shortly.
Looks like we have an additional question about tents for sites. Will there be enough to put up for adults to have their own tent if they wanted to bring their own tents? I would say it kind of depends on the campsite, but yes, there's usually spots to be able to put up personal tents. But if you want a specific answer for your campsite, Alex Buxton would be your person to email. If you email Alex Buxton, he can look at your specific site to see how much additional space there would be for those tents.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else we can help support? if you do, please stay on. Otherwise, have a wonderful afternoon. And again, looking forward to having you join us this summer at Ransburg.
Yeah, thanks all. Looking forward to it.